Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and welcome to my match day experience for Ipswich Town versus Sheffield United in the FA Cup third round, or should I say Ipswich Town B versus Sheffield United reserves in the FA Cup third round. But if you want more of that and my thoughts on the actual FA Cup and its demise and why neither of the two teams today are really going to care so much, check out another video on this channel I've made on that subject, so I will not waste any more time talking about it. Needless to say that Ipswich have a whole ton of injuries, squad's getting really pushed, so they're not interested today, and they have been interested for the last 5 or 6 years for the same reason. Loads of games over Christmas, rest your players for the FA Cup third round, with this kind of very non-sporting argument, well, if you're not going to win it and you're not going to make any money, then just save your players for the league. Sheffield United obviously have come up from League One, had a really good start, dropped from sort of third, maybe even had second at some point, dropped from sort of second, third position to the edge of the playoff, so they really want to kind of recalibrate their season and get going again. So what you're going to get today is a couple of reserve teams and both managers with the precise goal of, we kind of want to win, but the last thing we want is a replay. So that's a nailed on draw then, isn't it? But Ipswich have a whole slew of injuries. So in the Fulham game, Grant Ward went off, so he's now not around. And the game before that, the Derby game, Adam Webster went out, and the game before that, Ted Bishop went out. So it's been one a game. Obviously Bishop for the season, Ward and Webster hopefully much shorter. So even if Mick wanted to pick a reserve team, he's going to struggle really, because he operates a pretty small squad and he just doesn't have them. The first point of interest is in goal, where he's already said that first choice goalkeeper Bartosz Białkowski is going to play, which throws up two questions. One, is he actually going to Crystal Palace? Is this happening? Is this his send-off, his last game? Interesting to see what happens at the end of the match. There's normally some kind of hint from the player if it is going to be the last game. The other thing is, what's Michael Crowe doing, the young reserve goalkeeper? Why isn't he good enough? If you're on the bench for a football team, you need to be able to come on, and if you're not able to come on, why are you there? So pretty weird that Crowe has been sat on the bench since Dean Gherkin's been injured for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 games now, but apparently he's not good enough to start in the FA Cup. Anyway, we're expecting across the back four, obviously another absence. Jordan Spence red carded against Fulham, so Dominic Iorfa I suspect will play right back. Luke Chambers has played in the past few sort of cup games, stayed in as captain. He's very durable, plays a lot of games. If there's a player that doesn't need a rest, it's probably him. I think Tommy Smith will play again, left centre back. Obviously Webster's not around, but if Smith wasn't ready, McCarthy could put Knudsen in there, but I think he's going to get a rest. And I think Miles Kenlock's definitely going to play at left back. He got on actually at the end of the Fulham game and played against Wolves, struggled a bit against Wolves, so bit of an up and down player actually, Kenlock, so hopefully he comes in like he did against Bolton earlier in the season and has a good game. Looking forward to seeing him. In midfield, he said that Luke Hyam will definitely play, so that'll be one of the two holders. He's got choices then. I think he might well play Callum Connolly as a regular first teamer. I've said this before, sounds a bit nasty, but he's on loan. Mick doesn't own him, so I think he'll put him in. The other option is Kevin Brew. That obviously depends what he's going to do further forward. I think he'll go with Connolly. David McGoldrick, rumours about him leaving and the whole cup tied thing. I don't think people really care enough about the FA Cup to be worried about someone being cup tied these days, so don't know really that's an issue. So I expect McGoldrick to be on the right of the three off the front. Brew I expect to be in that more forward position, and then they can move into defensive shape with him dropping back. And I think Sears will play down the left of those three. I think Joe Garner's going to get a rest because of his all-out physical style. I think Waghorn's probably in need of a goal despite his amazing assist record. And away at Derby, Waghorn did play the lone forward role very well, so I think you'll go with Waghorn. So the only real changes where I feel, like I could be wrong, he could stick Brew in midfield and he could give Selina a go for sort of 60 minutes, in which case Connolly would be out, Brew would start in the midfield, and Selina would possibly take the left position with McGoldrick moving to the middle and Sears moving to the right. He could play Garner. I wouldn't have thought he'd play Garner just because of that physical style that he has to play with every week going up against the centre halves. So I think Garner gets a well-deserved rest. It just begs the question of the young players. I'm pretty sure someone told me on Twitter McDonnell is unavailable. A few young players: Morris, McKendry, Falami, Webber at centre back. Any of those could possibly play, depending on mixed feeling about how they've been progressed in training. Obviously, as a fan, that's not one I can really give any insight on because I've never seen them play, so my opinions are based on what I've seen in the first team. Sheffield United were expecting to make a lot of changes. I know they've had some injury problems, especially to their excellent midfield three. Last time I saw them at Bramall Lane a couple of months ago, they played a 3-5-2 with a very buzzy midfield and centre halves breaking forward, which I really enjoyed. So hopefully they'll play the same system, but sometimes, depends whether the philosophy goes through a club. If the philosophy goes through the club, he'll play the same system and his reserves will be able to do it. So, and I must confess, I don't know what a Sheffield United second team is going to look like. So, probably a few names to learn when the teams are read out. Need to make a quick apology today. I'm driving down to Ipswich now. I was supposed to be down here, it's 11:56 now. I was supposed to be down here for 9 a.m. But on my excellent bedtime app on my iPad, I'd very cleverly set it for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, which are the days I have to get up especially early. So instead of adding a new alarm, I reset that alarm today for 6:45, but obviously it was set not to go off on a Saturday. So I was due to be with our Blue Monday podcast producer Ian doing some work, and shock horror, at 8:45 I wake up, I check the time and it's like, oh wow, that's great, I'm 2 hours behind, and that was the 2 hours I'd set aside for getting up and travelling. So it's been a bit of a Mr. Bean start to the day. Hopefully I'm going to meet the Renegade Statman and Dave from the Blue Monday podcast when I get to Ipswich. So listen, I hope it's a good game, I hope it's good fun, I hope it's not really dull and boring and friendly like, but a few goals would be nice. A few first teamers scoring never does any harm, and please God, no replay. I don't want to go to Sheffield Tuesday week if that's when it's going to be. Just about to go past coaches to say let's give it the old onward. Wow. Last minute rush to the ground, but we actually have a story on FA Cup Day because the teams have come in, and the news is that Ipswich Town's longest serving player, Tommy Smith, is due to be sold to the Colorado Rapids of MLS, I presume, not nasal, and he's not in the squad. So We'll have a lot more reactions to that on the podcast. Hard to get your head around what's going on with this transfer deadline day with Ipswich. Moore's going to go, McGoldrick could go, Bart could go, Smith's going to go. Could be big lot of ins and outs. I suspected it might be Bart going, and maybe a goalkeeper comes in for half the money we get, and Evans takes the other half the money of the profit, and maybe a loan come in. But it looks like there's going to be a big load of in and outs. Anyway, the team, if I can remember this properly, so Bart in goal. Is it going to be his last game? Iorfa right back, Kenlock left back. So Smith is not going to play, so we assume Knudsen is going to play centre back. So I was wrong about that, but how could I have known? The other centre back, Chambers. Connolly does play, Hyam does play. I assume they're going to be the two holding players. Then I'm guessing that McGoldrick's going to be the forward. Selina will play down the left, Sears down the right, and Brew off the front. It's weird with these 4-2-3-1s because they could easily be 4-4-2s, but it depends. If the other team does that and have the three forward, then you do need to split your midfield in half, and obviously a lot is expected of forward today. So really interesting. I haven't got the Sheffield United team yet because I've been to a meeting and I'm in a big rush, so it's 2:35, but I cannot imagine it's going to be heaving down at Portman Road to try and get parked and get in. So yes, very big story with Tommy Smith going, and certainly the transfer window really hotting up now. Let's get down to the ground, onwards. Wow, totally stuck in the traffic. I've never been this late for the football. Running round, it's 2:57. Am I going to make it? Keep watching to find out. Onwards. Well, it's half time in the least intense football match I think I've ever seen that's not a friendly. So Sheffield United made 8 changes. Ipswich haven't made that many. I don't even think I can be bothered to count up how many. It's 1-0 to Sheffield United. It was a really good goal, to be fair. Nathan Thomas smashed it in the top corner from outside the area with his left foot. It's just a bit boring that half the ground's closed. There's a kind of testimonial atmosphere. No one seems to really care. They're all ready to kind of boo and murmur and go home. It's cold and FA Cup for you, hey? Hopes for the second half is just that we don't draw. So either 2-1 to Ipswich would be nice. If not, Sheffield United get a second goal. We can all go home. No replay, and Ipswich can sell all their players like it seems they're going to. I need a And we're most of the way home now. I'm on the M25. It was Ipswich Town 0, Sheffield United 1. And I've done my long form match report, and it's just depressing today, honestly. There was half the stadium was closed off, basically. So there was 12,000 people in this 30,000 seat stadium. Everybody knows that the two managers aren't really bothered about the game because, the changes they make. And in this instance, I actually thought for once, oh well, Sheffield United made 8 changes, and in a weird way, because of Ipswich's injuries, they've been forced to make less changes. So there's quite a lot of what you'd say first team players there. Bart, Chambers, Knudsen, Connolly, Selina, McGoldrick. So you think, oh well, maybe we'll just power through them today with a little bit of extra star power, and that obviously wasn't the case. I think Sheffield United were deserved winners. They took their goal. Great long-range goal by Thomas, about 25 minutes, sat back. They still created a couple more chances. Ipswich, I don't think, had a shot on target for the whole game. And I mean, the real depressing things are, one is the kind of apathy and the low attendance and that testimonial feel to the game, and the other is just at the end you get the chanting, Mick McCarthy, your football is, and we're effing S. Yeah, it's, I don't know, pretty depressing. There were a couple of interesting moments. Connolly changed his shirt and it didn't have a number on the back. Bart went up for a free kick. There was a family of about 8 people in front of me who kind of made the whole stand watch as they passed out their pies and chicken pies and sausage roll and stuff. So yeah, long day. Hopefully there is going to be better news on the transfers, because we now think that Tommy Smith is being sold as well. So hopefully this week some positive news will come out that this player either is or isn't being sold out. We'll get some answers. Maybe we're linked with someone. Maybe someone even comes in. I don't know. Need some positive news, else, like last January, the season kind of folded at this point, and it all got a little bit blur for the last 3 months of the season, and we don't want that again. Anyway, I'm most of the way back now. I have 14 miles until I'm home. Another perk of there not being anybody there is that you get out of the ground nice and quickly and you don't have to queue to go for a pee. So that being said, I think I've said enough. I won't do a bit when I arrive back, so this will be it. If you want a more detailed review of the game, check that out elsewhere on the channel in my match review. If you enjoy hearing me spout rubbish about football and about Ipswich Town, please subscribe, because I'm going to do plenty more of it. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're a Blades fan, an Ipswich fan, and you agree, disagree with what I say, give me a comment and let me know what you think. I'm going to go and, I say this all the time now, it's depressing. I'm going to go and enjoy my Saturday night and not worry about football, fingers crossed. Thank you all for watching.